Hi, it's Chester at Blue Pecan Computer Training, and we're going to do some aging analysis on these invoices. I'm going to show you how to do this in older versions of Excel, but also in Excel 365. So we'll start with the older versions of Excel. The first thing I need to do is work out when these invoices are due. Invoice term is 30 days. So what I would do is I would say, take the date issued for the invoice and then add the invoice term, which I have in J1, and I need to fix that reference, so press F4 on my keyboard. If I copy that down, it gives me the date due for each of these invoices. The next thing to do is to work out how many days the invoice is overdue. So what I can do is use the today function, which will keep today's date up to date, and then subtract from that the date due. Convert this to a number and copy down. Now this works fine until I get to invoices that are not overdue and I get a minus figure. These really should be zeros. I can fix that by using an if. Basically say I only want to perform this calculation if the date due is less than today's date, so in the past. And if that isn't true, I want to return a 0. So my value of false is 0. Copy this down. And now I can see that the invoices that have a due date in the future now have a 0. The next trick is to put these invoices within buckets. The buckets are over here. You've got your not due bucket, which is where invoices have a days overdue value, which is 0. Then anything between 1 and 30 days overdue goes in the 1 to 30 bucket. Anything between 31 and 60 goes in the 31 to 60 bucket, etc. Now, to put these values within buckets, we can use an approximate match VLOOKUP. And the first rule you need to know if you're using an approximate match VLOOKUP is these values in the first column of your lookup table need to be in ascending order. The next thing you need to understand is how you express the ranges. So let's take this range here, 1 to 30. So you've got a 1 there and then a 31 here. But that doesn't give you a range of 1 to 31. It gives you a range of 1 to 30. So the range is always 1 less than the next value. So if you take these two cells here, 31 and 61, the range is actually 31 to 60. Let's use our VLOOKUP. I take this lookup value, and I'm looking up in this table array. And I need to fix that reference at F4, comma. Column index number is 2, so I'm returning values from the second column. And then this is where I specify that I want to do an approximate match. So I'll double click there and put in true, close the bracket, press enter. And I get greater than 90 for the days overdue value of 101. And a little tip for you, if you are doing an approximate match with VLOOKUP, you don't need to use the range lookup argument because VLOOKUPs perform approximate matches by default. So I take out that last argument and it will still perform the lookup for me. So there we are. I have all my values, my day overdue values within the relevant bucket. Now this is actually all the hard work done. We'll eventually use a pivot table to create the aging analysis report. But I want to show you how to do the same calculations using Excel 365. So what I would do here is I would say equals all of these values. So I select the first value, C2, Control Shift down arrow key, Control backspace to go to the active cell, plus J1. Then I'd press enter. And I'd get my date due. So one formula would create all of those results. This formula spills its results into surrounding cells. Now days overdue would be equals today minus E2 hash. So the hash refers to the spilled array of values whose source is in E2. If I press enter, I do need to do a little bit of formatting on the first value there, but you can see I get my days overdue. Now to put these values in buckets, in Excel 365 you'd use XLOOKUP. So my lookup value will be the spilled array of results whose source is in F2, so F2 hash. My lookup array would be this column here. I don't need to fix it because I'm going to be creating a spilled array, comma, return array is this column here. If not found, I'm not interested in. Match mode, exact match, or next smaller item. Double click on that, close the bracket, press enter. It spills its results into surrounding cells. Okay, I'm going to go back to the first example we created. And the next step would be to house this data, including the calculations, within an Excel table. The reason you want to do that is because Excel tables create a dynamic range. So if you add more invoices, then they'll automatically be included in the report that we are going to eventually create. So to put this data in a table, you need to click somewhere within your data and then go to Insert Table. In this little dialog box here, you just need to check that it's including the correct cells. A1 to G39 is the correct range. I already have headers, so I'm going to keep that ticked. And I'll click on OK. Now you can give the table a name. You get this new tab on your ribbon, Table Design, and I'm just going to call this Invoices. Press Enter. Now if I go back to the other example that we created using spilled arrays, and I put this in a table, click on OK, you'll see that the spilled array formulas don't work within an Excel table. So that's one thing you do need to be aware of. If you're getting used to using spilled array formulas, you can't use them in an Excel table. Okay, let's carry on with the first version of the data that we created. And the next step is to create a pivot table. So click somewhere in the data, go up to the Insert tab on your ribbon, click on the Pivot Table button, select a table arranged to base your report on. Let's pick up the name that we gave to our table, Invoices. Choose where you want the pivot table to be placed. We're going to place it on a new worksheet. So if I click on OK, what we're going to do here is design our report. And we want customers as row labels. And we'll also include invoice numbers. We want buckets as our column labels, so I'll drag that into columns. And then we want amount within values. Now we need to do a little bit to the order of the columns and the rows. So for example, greater than 90 needs to be at the end of this table. So if I select that cell, place my mouse pointer over the edge of the cell, this border, we get 4 black arrows. Then I can just drag the column over. Not due, I could drag to the beginning. And in fact, if I didn't want to show not due at all, I could just go up to the column labels filter button there and untick not due. Similarly, CID 10 should really be the last customer ID. So what I can do is select that cell and drag it down to the bottom of the report. Now, if I don't want a grand total for rows, I can go to the Design tab on my ribbon, go to Grand Totals, and I'll say On for columns only. I can adjust my column widths up here. If I select all those columns, drag out the width of one column, they'll all end up the same width. And I can rename some of my columns, so I could put Customer ID, widen that a little bit, and I could call this Buckets. Okay, you can see I'm pretty much there with my aging analysis. Another thing you might want to do is create a separate report for each bucket. Now the way to do that would be to put bucket in the filters area and then go to the Analyze tab of your ribbon, find the Options button on the left side of the ribbon, go to the little drop down next to it and go to Show Report Filter Pages. That will list all the fields that you've put in the filters area of your pivot table. So I click on OK, and now you can see it's created a separate sheet for each of the buckets. And if I click on those sheets, you can see it contains the relevant invoices that are overdue by the bucket amount. Okay, that's all I wanted to cover in this particular video. Hopefully that's useful. If it is, please subscribe, and I'll see you next video.